Assalamu alaikum students. I am Raila Zafar with the third lecture of botany, and today the topic, another topic from anatomy portion of your syllabus, that is the parenchyma. And we will proceed with the lecture and you will come to know what is parenchyma, but you are very much aware that it is one of the types of the simple tissues you have studied in your FSC class as well. So let's begin with the lecture. You must be knowing that there is a difference between a tissue and a cell. So parenchyma is a tissue. Let's define what a tissue is. A tissue is an aggregation of similarly specialized cells which together perform specialized functions, and we have got different type of tissues. If you can recall, we have got tissues which are termed as the xylem, we have got tissue which is termed as phloem, we have got the parenchyma, we have got the collenchyma, we have got the sclerenchyma, and all these tissues are the aggregates of similarly specialized cells. Now have a look at this slide. You will very easily understand the difference between a cell and a tissue. In this slide you can see that a number of cells are aggregated together and they are sharing the common cell walls. And you remember that yesterday we studied about the middle lamella that is binding the different cells together. You can see that there are different cells aggregated together with the help of the middle lamella, and when they are aggregated they are forming what we call as the tissues. So have a look at it. The diagram shows that we are having the primary cell wall and the inner thickened secondary cell walls. Whereas in case of a cell is an entity that is the basic structural and functional unit of any plant organ, and it is not an aggregation, it is just a simple entity that is different from a tissue. The plant's body is divided into two types of tissues, and these are termed as the meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. The meristematic tissues are those tissues which keep on dividing and they have the capacity to cell division. Permanent tissues are those tissues which are mature cells and they are incapable of cell division, with the exception of very few cells which divide permanently, or let's say they are comparatively less differentiated. But as the permanent tissues are of two types, one is termed as the simple and the other one is termed as the complex. The simple tissues are the tissues composed of single type of cells, whereas the complex type of tissues are composed of more than one type of cells. So as we are basically concerned with the parenchyma, so we will go into the details of the simple tissues. The simple tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And the complex type of tissues are the xylem and the phloem. You are very much aware of the fact that xylem is not consisting of one type of cells, rather they are having a number of different type of cells. When they are combined together they form the xylem tissue. The xylem cells which are included in the xylem tissue are the xylem vessels and the trachees. Similarly, we are having the phloem, which are also the complex tissues, and the phloem is not also consisting of one type of cells, rather it is having the sieve tubes and the companion cells. We will go into the details of all of these simple and the complex tissues in the series of lectures that we will be dealing in this anatomy section of your syllabus, and with the preceding lectures you will find out the details of all type of complex and the simple tissues. But today we are restricting ourselves to the parenchyma only. So let's move. The permanent tissues, as you can see, they are the xylem and the phloem, and the simple permanent tissues are the parenchyma, collenchyma and the sclerenchyma. Simple permanent tissue is made up of one type of cells that form a homogeneous or uniform mass. Simple plant tissues include parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So this is the parenchyma. The parenchyma cells are isodiametric, which means that they are equally expanded on all sides. They have different shapes. They may be oval, they may be round, they may be polygonal, or they may be elongated. Nucleus is present, and hence we call them that they are the living cells. The cell walls are thin and made up of cellulose. Cytoplasm is dense with a single large vacuole. Intercellular spaces may be present, may not be present, may contain chlorophyll. Parenchyma which contains chlorophyll are called chlorenchyma. Now, the types of parenchyma, you can see from the side, it is a very well-made slide which is showing the two types of parenchymatous tissues. One is termed as the aerenchyma. Aerenchyma are the tissues which have got air spaces, and the other one is termed as the chlorenchyma. And chlorenchyma are those type of parenchymatous tissues which are having the green material, that is the chlorophyll present in them. So you can see that there are two types of parenchymatous tissues. One is aerenchyma and the other one is chlorenchyma. We will go into the details and we will find out that there are some other types of parenchymatous tissues as well. Where do they occur? They found in the cortex of roots, ground tissues in stems, and mesophyll of leaves. Okay, now have the characteristics of parenchymatous tissues. If I give them into very small points so that you can easily memorize them, we will say that parenchymatous tissues are relatively undifferentiated. They are least specialized along simple permanent tissues, that they are present with the permanent tissues, and they are not much specialized as the xylem and the phloem cells are, but they are definitely a bit specialized. They usually occupies the ground tissues. Ground tissues का मतलब ये होता है कि ये किसी भी प्लांट ऑर्गन का बल्क पोर्शन बनाती हैं. ज़्यादातर हिस्सा जो होता है वो इन सेल्स के साथ कवर हुआ होता है. ये हमारे पास xylem और phloem के साथ भी एसोसिएटेड होती हैं, एंड दे आर टर्म एज द xylem एंड phloem parenchyma. और parenchyma जो है ये कहाँ से ओरिजिनेट होते हैं? दे फॉर्म द ग्राउंड मेरिस्टेम्स और द वास्कुलर cambium in the vascular bundles. You are very much aware of the term meristem and the vascular cambium because when you were doing the previous semester we studied both these terms in detail, and I hope you can recall them now even. Now, the parenchyma, as I told you, that the simplest form of the parenchyma I showed you in my first few slides, but they are not only the two simple types I told you. We are having some other forms of parenchyma as well. One, and I will name all of them, and then we will go into the detail of some of them because the details of each and every parenchymatous tissue is not included, not required. So we will learn the names of the few types of the parenchymatous tissues, and we will learn the details of only few more. So the different type of parenchymatous tissues are, they are chlorenchyma, aerenchyma, prosenchyma, vascular parenchyma, medullary parenchyma, conjunctive parenchyma, and armed parenchyma. I will give you the details of some of them in the coming slides. Now, the first type of parenchyma cells which are very important is termed as the chlorenchyma. Parenchymatous cells with the chloroplast are termed as the chlorenchyma. They are usually present in the mesophyll tissue, also present in the outer cortex young stem. They are usually loosely packed cells with intercellular spaces, and their function is photosynthesis. You must be knowing it since they are having the chloroplast and the chlorophyll. Definitely their main function is to undertake the process of photosynthesis. Now, the other type of the parenchymatous tissue is the aerenchyma. Parenchyma cells with plenty of intercellular spaces are termed as the aerenchyma. They have got very large air cavities. They store air and they are usually present in the aquatic plants. They help in the floating of the aquatic plants and they provide buoyancy in the water, and they are having respiratory gases, and the respiratory gases are carbon dioxide and oxygen, and parenchyma tissues are filled with them, and they provide it to the rest of the cells present in surrounding of these air traps, and they give them these gases when and where they are required. Now, the other type of the parenchymatous tissue system as the prosenchyma. They are elongated and narrow-sized parenchyma. They possess interpenetrating tapering pointed ends, and they present in the vascular tissues of the plants. They are associated with the xylem and the phloem, and they have got their own functions of providing strength to the plants when they are in association with the xylem tissues. Now, the vascular parenchyma, they are occur in the vascular tissues. They provide nourishment to the vascular tissues. They store ergastic substances. That is, example is the axial and ray parenchyma. They form tyloses in heartwood. Tyloses are the projections of the cells into other cells, and these are termed as the tyloses. What are the main functions of the parenchymatous tissues? The main functions of the parenchymatous tissues are that they form the fundamental ground tissue system in plants. They can store water and food materials. They can store starch, proteins, oil. If they are forming chlorenchyma, then they undergo the process of photosynthesis. If it is parenchyma, then they provide buoyancy. If they store ergastic substances, parenchyma in secondary would form tyloses. All meristematic cells are parenchymatous cells, easily differentiated into secondary meristems. So that is the end of the slideshow, and by that time you must have understood. I will conclude the lecture once again. Simple type of tissues is termed as the parenchyma. One of the type of the simple type of tissues is the parenchyma. They are thin-walled tissues. They are comparatively less differentiated, and they perform many different functions depending upon their position and their structures. But most of the time they are performing a number of functions in the ground systems of the major plant organs, and they are also trapping different gases. They are undergoing the process of photosynthesis. So with that I end my lecture. I hope you can easily understand it, and for the next lecture I will be giving you material for the other simple and the complicated tissues. For that time, thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz.